I grew up in a family that identified as Christian. Although we didn't go to church, we read the Bible, we had our kids' Bibles, and we prayed every night before dinner and bed. So when I was about 10 years old, I started riding my bike to church on Sundays, and I was soon followed by my sister and my brothers, and we'd all ride down there every Sunday. And it got pretty easy to compartmentalise God. I was like a Christian at church on Sundays, and then the rest of the week was just like whatever, my normal life. And it felt like the life that I lived the rest of the week was too messy for Sunday.
So I grew up in a Coptic Orthodox church, and from as young as I can remember, we'd be going to church every Sunday. And the service itself was about 3 hours long, so it was long. And there was just a lot of rituals and prayers. So it was actually quite the same service essentially every week, with just a little sermon in the middle. So as a teenager, it just became a place that, I didn't want to be, and I didn't really connect to anything. It was just kind of going through the motions of the prayers. I had questions, and skepticism started to arise, and was like, what if this isn't true? So it was a question that I actually asked my mum one time. I remember saying, hey, like the Bible, like these events, God, Jesus, what happens if this isn't true? And she was really shocked, and I was like, you can't ask that. And I remember being like, oh, I should be able to, I felt like her answer wasn't good enough, and it didn't really give me any, I guess, comfort or really good reasoning or rationale. So I just, as I got older and went into my 20s, I just drifted away and felt like there was no connection for me.
I sort of gave up a little bit on it. I would go through the ritual of going to church, but I didn't really feel like my heart was in it so much, and my eyes would glaze over and I wasn't really listening to the sermon. I had Isaac, and I would bring him along just because it was part of the ritual and tradition of my family. And it became significant when he got in the car one day after scripture and said to me, he told me the story about the wheat and the different grains of wheat, and I asked him, which one do you think you are? And he said, I think I'm the one that used to grow and now it's dead. And that was a really significant moment for me, where I thought, I need to address this, because if this is real, it really, really matters. If it's true for him, then it's true for me. So I had to, even though in my life I was ignoring this growing cancer, when I could see it in my son, I was like, we have to do something about it. I need to at least get it checked out. It was during Christianity Explained that I guess definitively became a real Christian, and not just kind of the going through the motions Christians that I'd been up until that point.
Soon after then, we started coming to Vine, and it was the Got Questions series last Easter. They answered a lot of the questions that I had, and the skepticism that I had, and I felt comforted, and I was like, okay. And it was really interesting, and I was just really intrigued by the whole process, because it was a space where you could ask those questions, where when I asked my mum, I didn't really get that fulfillment, and I felt I got that fulfillment from that series at Vine. And I just felt like after that, I just needed one more push to kind of cement it. And I remember Sam saying to me, just look at Jesus. So what I'd previously thought about being a Christian was that you got to be a good person. You got to be a good person to be with God. You got to be a good person to be in heaven. But it's actually not about that, and it's about the grace of God. It just relies on us to entrust in Jesus. And I thought that was, it's taken me a while to really understand that, but I thought it's really amazing and really comforting as well, because it makes it accessible to everyone. It's not about your individual work. I really like that and resonate with that, because it just gives the opportunity for everyone to access that.
So having met the character of Jesus, this very real, confronting person, there's so much strength and power to him that I feel protected by this God. I feel like I trust him. So I definitely feel more secure in my day-to-day life now, knowing that I'm living out someone's plan that I trust.
It's not, I guess, just trusting, your partner, who's amazing, but it's God. So if
more reliable.
Yeah, more reliable, but he's the all-powerful God. So if God is ultimately true, and us trusting in him, then you can't really get better than that.